Hey John Marcelino with 3 West Design. Thank you so much for reaching out to us. We sincerely appreciate the opportunity to send you some saddles as well as kind of talk about our technical specifications. We're a small company, just getting going, so anything we can do to help spread the word is certainly welcome. GCN is a huge name in the industry. You guys are big over here in the U.S. I followed you guys for years, and all the videos y'all put together, I find them really entertaining. Guys like Simon and Tom and Daniel, as well as the GCN tech section. As a maker and kind of a nerd, I love that tech info about the cycling industry. So with that, we thought again we'd put a very short video together, talk about our technical specs on the saddle, why it's different than some things in the market. And again, all focused on meeting the needs of the cycling community. And nothing does us better and nothing makes us more happy than to hear from customers that we solve their problems, and people that have ridden the saddles for a long time. So here we go. All right, so let's talk about the shell. We marry up a concave shape with a convex shape, which basically means right here it wants to break all the time. So we partnered up with an engineering company to help us determine through computer modeling how we can put a lot of stress and a lot of force on the saddle without it breaking. For some reason we determined a 400-pound person would be able to fit on this, and we probably over-engineered it a little bit, but at the time we were kind of paranoid. So anyway, you can see these stanchions we built here, as well as this triangle shape in what we call the well, which allows the stresses to be put on this middle section without it breaking. Again, over-engineered a little bit, but it keeps the saddle in one shape. Okay, that brings us to the foam and the air chamber, as well as the pump. We get the most questions on the air chamber by far. What's it made out of? How was it tested? How's it made? Et cetera, et cetera. So just to give you a word, it's very tough 12 millimeter urethane. It's RF welded. So these seams are tough as nails. As the manufacturer Wyman puts it, that it'll blow up like a balloon rather than pop. Of the hundreds we've made, we've only had 2 that failed, and they were failed because they weren't heated properly. They usually failed right here along the seams. I believe 4 total. 2 were mailed back to us, and 2 are somewhere still floating out in the world. It's urethane, like I mentioned, a urethane hose, and then a medical grade lure valve, which is very, very tough and makes the unit pretty much indestructible. Just a note, when you're airing this up, you always want to grab the stem itself. The white part puts air in, black part takes air out, and I'll tell you, just a little bit of air makes kind of a big difference. So I ride it to where it has a little play in it, rather than being rock hard. I've never understood why people ride it with full air, but just an FYI. The foam itself, closed cell foam, real easy, nothing much to it. This one's from the Trinity. You can tell it's wider, it's a little bit deeper, and it provides some support, but mostly it's there to pad that area that's very, very sensitive. The biggest key is the shape itself. Nowhere on the body is it flat. So as you ride a flat saddle, your body is having to conform to that flat saddle. Again, our big philosophy was, let's drop out that entire midsection of saddle. Let's shape the perineum to the way it's shaped, and let's give people an area to sit on for their sit bones, so when they come in contact with the seat, they're dropping into a little section rather than having that firm section pressed against basically their perineum. From this shape you can see the saddle itself, and just putting a card you can see what's missing there, and obviously compare that to other saddles where it's more or less a flat saddle. Here's another shot. It kind of gives you an indication of how the body sits on the saddle, where you got your sit bones making contact, and then we got room underneath there. Hopefully you can see that, as well as what's resting on there. Okay, last thing we wanted to talk about was the rails. Because we have that lower portion under our saddle, that well that drops down, we had to extend our rails a little bit. Still 25 millimeters of play, so you can get most seat posts in there. The only exception is the Halcyon. Because it's more of a competitive cyclist's saddle, There's only 15 millimeters of play under there, between the bottom and the top of the rail. So we hope that answers a lot of questions about our company, a lot of questions about who we are and where we're going. We're looking forward to making more saddles. Again, nothing does our heart prouder than when somebody's happy and drops us a little email about the saddle and what it does for them. If you have any questions, anything you want to talk about, by all means, I'll put my email and phone number up. Y'all have a great day. Thanks again for reaching out. Take care.